The protest was, for the most part, peaceful, but at times it turned contentious. Bajan can be seen in this video briefly tangling with masked federal agents. One ICE agent pushes Bajan in the back, knocking Bajan into another, who grabs him. Bajan and the agent shove each other and then disengage. Then demonstrators back up and link arms to try to block the gate to stop ICE from taking the asylum seekers away. Dozens of people were arrested, but Bajan wasn't among them. Richard Barker, the acting U.S. Attorney for Eastern Washington State, had monitored the protest from his office on the other side of the Spokane River.
I went to bed that evening feeling like this situation could have been a lot worse than how it ended up.
Barker had worked for the DOJ for 11 years and focused on prosecuting drug smugglers and murderers. But the day after the Spokane protest, the Justice Department sent him and the 92 other U.S. attorneys nationwide a memo that demanded they prioritize prosecutions of ICE protesters. So Barker authorized an investigation. His staff started preparing a conspiracy indictment against Bajan Mavawala and 8 others, something Barker knew he couldn't support.
Nobody was really hurt. None of the protesters were hurt. Fortunately, none of the law enforcement officers were hurt either.
He was aware that other U.S. attorneys had been ousted for refusing to comply with Trump Justice Department orders, and he worried about his ability to act ethically if he stayed on the job. So he resigned.
I didn't feel in this case that a conspiracy charge that would carry a 6-year term of incarceration was true to who I was or who I wanted to be as a federal prosecutor.
2 days after Barker quit, his successor signed the indictment, charging Bajan and the others with conspiracy to impede or injure a federal officer, the first time conspiracy charges had been brought against ICE protesters. In a statement to the NewsHour, the DOJ said it respects the First Amendment and the right of Americans to peacefully protest, but will never tolerate the obstruction of lawful immigration operations or putting federal agents in harm's way.
Should we go in?
The day he was arrested, Bajan was getting ready to move into a new house. He and his girlfriend, Kate, bought it with a VA mortgage.
This is the service uniform. I was in 9 years.
Kate's also an Afghanistan war veteran. She deployed as a medic.
We're not weak people. We are willing to fight for what is right, which is, it's a First Amendment issue.
Bajan agrees and is standing his ground. They say that you were part of a felony conspiracy to impede or assault a federal officer.
Conspiracy requires people communicating and planning it out and saying, yeah, we're going to do this, and this is why we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to do it. None of that happened. At least not as far as I know. I wasn't part of any of it.
Since Bajan's arrest in July, the use of federal conspiracy charges has spread. Prosecutors have filed them against demonstrators in Chicago and also investigated Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey for the same crime.
What these people are doing to my son, and that they're doing all across the country, is unconscionable, and people need to know about it.
How y'all doing today?
Inspired by Bajan's arrest and concerned about what he sees as the misuse of government authority, his father announced in January that he was running for Congress, challenging Spokane's Republican incumbent. It was a day after federal agents fatally shot Renee Good in Minneapolis, and he stopped by a demonstration in Spokane.
This is me and my son in Afghanistan. He was arrested by the FBI. It's unconscionable and it's un-American.
The shock of Renee Good's killing also inspired former acting U.S. Attorney Richard Barker to speak out about what he sees as the government's hypocrisy. This is his first on-camera interview since resigning.
In the one instance, really nobody was hurt, and the protesters were charged. In another instance, somebody's life was taken, and DOJ wants to give that person immunity.